Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into a topic that feels more urgent than ever. With the economy on shaky ground and an election season stirring up uncertainties, and also the growing sense that the middle class is slipping away, more of us are wondering how to protect ourselves financially. How can we move up instead of down? To guide us, we're taking a page from the legendary Charlie Munger, who famously said that the first $100,000 is a B word, but you've got to do it. So why $100,000? Well, because it's a foundational amount that starts to build momentum. It opens the door to investment opportunities, higher returns, and future security. So if you don't have $100,000 saved up, this video is exactly for you. Stick around and I'll walk you through some practical ways to hit that target faster. And if you've already passed that mark, maybe you'll still find some tips to strengthen your saving strategy. Let's start with the hard numbers. If we're starting from $0 on day one, saving $100,000 in a year means you're saving $274 every single day. Now, I know this sounds like a mountain to climb, but we're going to break it down with strategies to get there without sacrificing every last thing you enjoy. So let's go. So I've set this budget spreadsheet up to mirror the median single person's income and expenses. So we'll go step by step and see what we can do. But if you'd like to download it, I have it uploaded to my Patreon and you can access it for free. Links down in the description. Just hit join for free and download it so you can use it for your own budget. So the first thing we have to do is obviously the obvious answer, but we have to boost our income. So here are some ways that you could do that. You could ask for a raise at your current job or seek higher paying positions. I know it might feel uncomfortable at first, but that small bump could really add up over a year. You could also consider freelancing, things like high income skills like copywriting, graphic design, digital marketing. So you could make hundreds per project with those types of things. And if none of those work, you could work for Uber Eats or TaskRabbit or be a dog walker. Just bring in some extra cash flow. And if you're really determined and you need a boost to get started, consider selling unused items on eBay, Facebook Marketplace. Make sure you monetize whatever things you have that are just collecting dust. So anyways, let's just say that you decided to drive for Uber Eats 10 nights a month. You make $900 per month extra on that. And you also decided to get a raise. You talked your employer into giving you 2.5%. So I think that's $52.85. And also we decided to do some TaskRabbit stuff. So we're doing, let's just say 6 gigs for $300 extra a month. So this ends up bringing us into the positive. And since these were the median numbers, unfortunately, the median is racking up credit card debt and whatnot. But off of this 10%, let's just throw in a tithe. Let's do 10% of that. So let's do 640. Let's do 650 bucks. Now let's talk about cutting major expenses. To save $100,000, you're going to need to be intentional with your biggest expenses, things like housing, transportation, and food. So here's how to tackle each of them. Housing, if you're renting, you may need to consider moving to a cheaper area or getting a roommate. If you can save thousands of dollars per year on rent, you might as well do it. And for car expenses, cars are super expensive to maintain and to own. So using public transport as much as possible would be your best bet. The average price of owning a car is over $700 per month, like in the United States. So that's a crazy expense. Also for food, get rid of eating out and all of that kind of stuff. We need to make sure we're meal prepping and saving as much money on food as possible. Okay, so now we need to move into a studio, get a roommate or two, or whatever we have to do. Since we're working with medians, we'll say we're going to have to downsize and also get a roommate. So let's just knock this down to $700. I know I never said this was going to be easy, but if you want to get $100,000 of savings in 1 year and you're not a CEO, you're going to have to do drastic things. So let's just say $700 is our rent with a roommate. And for the car, most people finance their car and they may already be upside down on their car loan. So I would honestly say to completely get rid of the car in some cases, but in this case, it's probably not realistic. We also need the car to make that Uber Eats income. So, but a couple of these we could actually cut down on. For example, the car insurance, we could easily get that down to under $100. But let's just say we're going to cut $50 off of that. You could always get a very cheap quote from a wholesaler. So Looking into this, $100 seems reasonable. We could also probably cut $50 in fuel, stop going to random places that we don't need to go to and whatnot, especially if it costs us money. Also, if you want me to help you out on getting your car insurance cut, make sure you schedule a time with me. I've got my Linktree link in the description. Just hit save on your insurance and we could schedule a time and I could see if I could get you a better rate. Anyways, onto the food. So the food, we're eating out a lot. That's the average American. So we're gonna completely cut that. And we're cutting Uber Eats. We're gonna work for Uber Eats and not actually eat from there. We're probably gonna need to get a Costco membership. Take advantage of the rotisserie chickens that are $5 as much as possible. And since we're meal prepping more now, it's probably going to increase our grocery budget just a little bit. There we go. Now let's talk about small changes that can make a difference. So subscriptions, we go through our monthly subscriptions, we cut anything we don't absolutely need. So we're talking streaming services, app subscriptions, premium memberships. They can all drain your time and money. Also with utilities, if you're paying a mortgage or whatever, or you pay utilities with your rent, making sure that you're turning off lights, using less water, things like that, make sure you're paying a smaller bill. Also, if you have high interest debt, you've got to make sure to tackle that first. Paying off credit cards and personal loans will probably be more important than saving a bunch of money up front. But make sure you save up at least 2 months worth of expenses, then tackle the debt as quickly as possible. Since we're working off the median, these are the interest expenses here that are typical. We're just going to zero this out for this example. You should honestly go ahead and try to get rid of all credit card debt as quickly as possible and be debt free and live at maximum frugality. And you got this. You got this. As far as the cell phone bills and everything like that, cell phone, we could definitely get to $50 a month if we're going to do like Xfinity Mobile or one of those other ones. Yeah, we can easily do that at 50. We're going to take away our Netflix, our Disney Plus, our Hulu, and our Spotify. We're zeroing all that out. As far as self-care, hair and nails, I mean, I don't really need hair stuff, but for me, this would be zero. But you know what? For you full-headed hair people, I'll just keep that at 100. Clothing, we're going to drop that down to 50. We're going to be hitting Goodwill, Costco, and we're not going to be buying up a bunch of clothes we don't need and sticking with our wardrobe. Medical, that's an essential expense, so we'll keep that. And you know what? Obviously, since we're trying to make as much money as possible, we need to make sure we're staying healthy. So you know what? Let's get a $50 gym membership and we'll do $10 for Spotify or Audible, because you know what? If you're feeling better, you're able to have more capacity, and in turn, you'll be able to create wealth better. Maybe you could even do 2 jobs, who knows? And here's the pro tip: automate your savings. Set up a direct transfer from a checking account into a high yield savings account every month or even every week. This is basically paying yourself first, and it keeps you from spending on non-essentials. And once you're saving consistently, consider low risk investments to let that money grow. You could look at high yield savings accounts, CDs, treasury bonds for safe returns. But if you're comfortable with some risk, index funds and ETFs could give your savings a little bit of boost without too much exposure. With the current investing environment, I'm actually putting a lot of my savings into TLT, which is a long-term treasury bond ETF. I'm basically betting that the Federal Reserve will continue cutting interest rates. So long-term bonds are affected most by interest rates. And if the Fed continues to cut to its target number, I believe the long-term treasuries may actually rise by over 50% over the next couple of years. So this doesn't even account for the 4.2% or so interest that they pay annually. So this isn't a recommendation or anything like that. Do whatever is right for your situation, but I just wanted to be transparent that that's what I'm doing. But anyways, looking over this person's free cash flow or extra cash flow, we're looking at about $2,700 a month. So this is not the craziest amount. This is really, really good. You're definitely going to be above the average because you're going to be living very frugally and saving a lot of money. But looking into this person's extra cash flow, it looks like we would be just under $34,000 in 12 months. And it would take 2.85 years to actually get to $100,000. So Realistically, for this person, it wouldn't be very easy to save $100,000 in a year unless they were to drastically increase their income. So if you truly grind and monetize almost all of your free time, I guarantee you could actually do it. It just takes a lot of work. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more videos. Make sure you keep going, because once you hit the $100,000, it's only the beginning, but you've got this. I've also challenged a handful of finance YouTubers to a 12-month investing challenge. So if you could show me some support and try to get this video out to them, I'd really appreciate it. Make sure you click it. It's right here.